In today's video, we're going to take a dive into the October 2024 housing market for Cedar City, Utah and St. George, Utah to help you understand if this is the right time for you to buy or sell here in Southern Utah. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to buy or sell here in Cedar City, St. George, or really anywhere in Southern Utah, I would love to help you out with that. Please feel free to call, text, or email anytime. That contact information is down below in the description. All right, let's see what's going on here in Southern Utah. Now I have jumped into some slides to give you a visual. Of course, if you watch this monthly, you are familiar with them. We have Cedar City here in blue, St. George here in green. In case you aren't watching this channel regularly, Cedar City and St. George have very different markets. St. George has a population of over 108,000 people, whereas Cedar City's population is closer to about 40,000 people. Both of these locations are considered deserts. However, Cedar is a high desert, so we will get 4 mild seasons here. We will see snow in the winter. You very rarely will see that in St. George. Now, I like to show both markets because they are only about 45 minutes apart, so you can find the one that fits your needs the best. Now, we're going to start with the median sales price. We're looking at the last 10 years. We're going to focus obviously on 2024, but I like to put the graph up here so that you can see how the market has changed over the last 10 years. You can see that both markets have consistently appreciated over the last 10 years. We had a slight dip from 2022 to 2023 in the Cedar City housing market, another slight dip from 2017 to 2018 in the Cedar City market, but for the most part, these two cities have consistently appreciated year over year. Now, I did say this is the October 2024 housing market update. That is because it is October 1st, the day I am recording this. However, we are actually looking at September year over year. I have to wait until the 1st of October to pull all of that data through the end of September. So it is October. We're looking at the most current data year over year for the month of September, just to clarify. Now, we know interest rates went up in 2022. That's when they started really increasing. So of course, both of these markets kind of stayed pretty flat in St. George, a slight dip in Cedar City from 2022 to 2023. Now, what's interesting to me is Cedar City's median sales price shot up quite a bit from 2023 to 2024. We actually saw an appreciation here of about 27% from last year in 2023 and about a 9% appreciation in the median sales price in St. George. Both are higher than the national average of appreciation that we are seeing in homes right now. Now, this increase in Cedar City is quite a bit higher than I actually expected to see. I want you to take a look at these two cities month over month. We usually like to look at them year over year because the housing market does fluctuate month to month based on the season and what is going on. But I do still want to note the month to month fluctuation in our housing market. Now, I took it all the way back to August so you can see what happened the month before September last year in both of these cities. And then of course it goes through September of 2024 this year. So we'll take a look at St. George first. From August to September, we saw an increase in the median sales price in St. George. However, from September to October, we saw that median sales price go down. So kind of gives you an idea of where we likely will be next month. Of course, we'll have to watch it and see, but for now, this is what it did last year. Of course, we have August lower in St. George, September went up in median sales price. So that's why I wanted to kind of show you what August did. Now for Cedar City, last year in 2023, we had a very, very slight increase in the median sales price for Cedar City. And then from September to October, that median sales price actually went up. So here's where we're different for 2024. We had a significant increase in the median sales price in Cedar City. Last year, we went up on the median sales price. However, we went up so much from August to September. My guess is we will likely see that either hold steady or dip down a little bit just because this increase was so much. Now we'll dive into why this might be a little bit later in the slides. I want to give you some more data as far as these two cities go, and then we'll kind of assess all of the data that we have. But for now, to end out September, St. George is sitting right around $540,000 as a median sales price. Cedar City is sitting right around $433,000 as a median sales price. You can see the two markets are different. St. George is usually about $100,000 more as far as that median sales price goes compared to Cedar City. Now, I always like to look at the absorption rate when we are looking at this. We look at the absorption rate based on months of inventory. So what this is telling us is that if we were to sell all of the homes currently listed in the market, all of the active listings, we didn't change any of the conditions, meaning we didn't add any new listings, it would take us this many months to sell off our inventory. Now, if we take a look at 2024, Cedar City is sitting just below 4 months, right around 3.76 months. St. George is sitting just above 4 months, about 4.13 months inventory. Now, we haven't seen this type of inventory in St. George since before 2016. Now, Cedar City is pretty comparable to what we saw in 2019, so it's a pretty stable market here. Of course, we saw that month supply completely dip in 2020 and 2021, but we are getting back up to a more healthy absorption rate for our current market. Now, it's important to note that a balanced market is going to be between 5 to 7 months supply. If it's more than a 7-month supply, it's considered a buyer's market. If it's less than a 5-month supply, it's considered a seller's market. This means sellers have more negotiating power, or above 7 months, buyers have more negotiating power. Now, you can see from our markets, we really haven't had a 5-month supply in either of these cities since 2015. That's when it was considered a little bit more balanced. And of course, you can see our median sales price has been pretty much consistently going up in these two markets over the last 10 years. Slight depreciation on a couple of those years, but it of course corrected and rebounded the following year. Now, we also look at days on market. Days on market is going to be how long that home is sitting on the market before it is put into contract and no longer active. We look at the median days on market because this tells us half of the homes are being sold more quickly and half of the homes are taking longer. Those that are sitting on the market longer are either in a higher price point, so they have a smaller buying pool, or they have been overpriced and weren't priced correctly for the market. And then of course, there's always those outliers, which are unique properties, again, have a smaller buying pool. For the most part though, you want to take a look at the days on market, whether you're a seller or a buyer, because this will help you either to choose the appropriate price to list your home, or it will help you in making an offer on the home. For example, if you're a seller and your home has been sitting longer than this median days on market, and the other homes at a comparable price point or that are comparable have already been selling off, you likely have it priced too high. If you're a buyer, you're coming in, you're looking at the same stats, your agent is helping you with this, that home has been sitting longer, you probably have some negotiating room on that home. If you come in, that home has not been on the market for very long, you likely have less negotiating powers with that seller. Both St. George and Cedar City are sitting on the market longer than they were in 2023. Now you can see from 2023 to 2024, Cedar City's days on market went up about 35%, meaning homes are sitting on the market 35% longer than they were a year ago. And homes in St. George are sitting on the market 63% longer than they were a year ago. So our homes are not turning over as quickly as they were. Now, of course, this comes into play as we look at everything that is going on, but I want you to see how this has changed over the last several years. Cedar City hasn't been on the market this long since 2017, and of course, St. George hasn't been on the market this long since 2015. So this is also an indication of what our market is doing right now. Now we're going to break this down a little bit further, city by city. We'll take a look at Cedar City first. We have the new active pending and sold listings here. This is everything, of course, that drives our market. Active is going to be those homes that are currently listed, available in the market for you to purchase. It will include also the new listings. So everything from the prior months as well as any new listings that came to the market this last month. And then of course we have pending here in purple and sold here in green. Now I find this interesting because our active listings went up quite a bit from 2023 to 2024. Now this is because our new listings went up from 2023 to 2024 here in blue. However, our closed sales went down quite a bit from 23 to 2024. We actually have 24% less closings this year than we did last year, and we're going to talk about why that might be. Now, what I find interesting is that Cedar City's median sales price went up so much. However, our active listings are higher. Typically, when you have more inventory, more homes in the market, we see that median sales price either level off or hold steady or go up or down slightly. This is not what we saw in Cedar City over the last month. Again, we're going to talk more about it so that you can see why. Now, if we take a look at St. George's Market, you can see our active listings also went up from last year to this year. Of course, that's why our month's inventory or our monthly supply of housing has gone up. So remember this slide, our absorption rate, it went up in St. George and Cedar City from 2023 to 2024. Of course, the active listings here show that to us. Now, what's interesting is new listings actually went down in St. George from last year to this year. However, closings went down as well. So we did see a decrease in the number of homes sold in both Cedar City and St. George for the month of September. Again, this is strange because both of these markets saw an increase in their median sales price. So that has to make us wonder what is going on, what is happening. Now, one big thing that happened this last month was mortgage interest rates. Now, if you've been watching the market, you've likely been looking at mortgage interest rates. We saw those come down this last month. A lot of people have been waiting for it and watching for it. And those that were priced out of the market and were waiting to get back in, they jumped on that right away, which is likely one of the reasons we saw that median sales price go up in both of these locations. Now, we did see that federal funds rate also decrease in September. Of course, that indirectly affects our mortgage interest rates. So it'll be interesting to see how that is as we move forward. Of course, if you've been watching me, you know that the inflation rate affects the federal funds rate. They are watching that consistently. We are still above what their target is. The Federal Reserve target rate is 2% inflation. You can see it was clear up to 5.3 in March of 2022. We've gotten it down. They're always a month behind what we're doing. So end of August, we have that price index down to about 2.6 as far as the inflation goes, but we still need to make sure it is getting below that 2% for them to be happy. However, as it has gotten closer, we've seen those rates start to come down. Now, this yellow line here goes over what the actual 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate has been over the last few years, clear back to Q1 in 2018. And then these little dotted lines here are projections from Fannie Mae, MBA, NAR, and Wells Fargo, forecasting where they believe these 30-year fixed mortgage interest rates will be heading. Now, they did project this clear out to Q4 in 2025. If their projections are correct, that's going to put us kind of right around where we were in Q3, Q4 of 2022. Now, we bring this up because there was a poll done by Bankrate that shows that over half of homeowners would be motivated to buy this year if mortgage rates dropped below 6%. Now, it is October 1. This is the Freddie Mac website, and it's giving you what the average 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate is. Of course, this is ending September 26th. It hasn't quite been updated yet. They have it right here around 6.08%. Of course, that's going to depend on your credit, your debt to income ratio. You'd have to talk to a lender to see what yours would actually be, but it gives you an indication of where it is currently. So you can see if we look at our graph here, we're already seeing those rates that we saw around the end of 2022. So if you think about this statistic as a buyer, if you've been waiting to get back into the market because of those mortgage interest rates, it might be time to contact your lender, contact me, and start making those plans, because you don't want to be fighting off all these other buyers and having to put in multiple offers. You can see in both St. George and Cedar City, these two markets are growing. They will continue to grow. Although we are starting to see a more balanced market as that inventory does continue to go up because we aren't having as many home sales, these two areas will continue to grow. I actually spoke with a representative from D.R. Horton, which is the largest builder, I believe, in the country. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that they are. And they are in both St. George and Cedar City, and they have no plans to pull out. They are continuing to stay here and move forward. So that should kind of give you an indication of what they expect to be happening in our markets here. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at what home prices are doing nationally. Now, you can see from this graph that home prices are moderating. If I didn't say it before, these dark blue graphics are from Keeping Current Matters. They do a great job with the slides, so I want to make sure that I note that, but it does show that home prices are moderating. So in the beginning of 2022, we were seeing those increases of up to 20% in many markets nationally. Then we saw a little bit of a dip in 2023, which of course we saw in both St. George and Cedar City, but it is showing nationally that home prices are appreciating. They are still going up in value. However, they are not going up at the same rate that they were a few years ago, likely due to those interest rates being so high. With that being said, remember Cedar City from 2023 to 2024 had a 27% increase in the median sales price. St. George was still 9% increase in that median sales price. So both have appreciated higher than what the national average is. So with everything I've shown you as far as mortgage interest rates, how our data is looking in these two markets, absorption rate, days on market, yeah, these homes are sitting on the market longer than they were before, and the absorption rate is going up. However, both markets are still showing appreciation. So it is something to watch month over month and year over year to see if it's the right time for you to go in and purchase a home, or if it's the right time for you to sell a home. Now this graph shows that the number of price reductions is increasing, meaning that more homes that are listed are having a price reduction so that they can find that market value and find a place that both the buyer and the seller agree on the value. Now, as a seller, it's important that you price your home right out of the gate. You want to find this sweet spot where that market value is. Of course, if it's underpriced, you lose value in it. It decreases your buying power moving forward, and it deters potential buyers because they think something is wrong with the property. If it is overpriced, it sits on the market longer, deters potential buyers because they think there is something wrong with it. Why aren't people offering on this home? And then the price drops can actually send the wrong message. So what you want to do is work with a professional, listen to their insight, look at the analysis that they have pulled up on the market, and be sure to price that home at market value and be ready to make those changes as necessary if it is needed. Now, we talked about this a little bit last month. I just wanted to reiterate it because we are still going into a presidential election. So in case you missed it, I want to make sure that you understand how a presidential election can affect our market. We saw home sales go down in both St. George and Cedar City for this last month. The data shows that there will be a seasonal drop in sales the month prior to a presidential election. So this doesn't surprise me that we're starting to see home sales go down because we are nearing that presidential election. But it is important to note that home sales actually went up after 9 of the last 11 presidential elections. So if you're sitting on the fence and waiting, just know that everybody else is doing that with you. So there is a good possibility that there will be a surge the year after the presidential election. Add to that 7 of the last 8 presidential elections, home prices increased the year after a presidential election. The only one that it didn't was in 2009. So we had a presidential election in 2008. The median sales price for the nation was right around $197,000. Then in 2009, we actually saw that median sales price go down to about $172,000. Remember what was happening in 2008? That was our big housing bubble. That's to be expected. But if we look at all of the other years, statistically, that median sales price has gone up the year after an election. Now, I bring that up because we are in that last month prior to an election. So if you are thinking of buying or selling a home and the presidential election has been holding you up, be prepared to jump on it, because I guarantee you that everybody else that has been waiting for the exact same thing as you is going to be jumping back into the market, especially as we see these mortgage interest rates coming down. All right, I always think this is going to be brief. It ends up being longer than I intend it to be every single month, but of course, I'm sure there is still stuff that I am missing in here. So remember, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are thinking of buying or selling, I really would love to help you out. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I promise you I will respond. You can find that contact information down in the description. Don't hesitate, just reach out. All right, until next time, have a wonderful day.